guys, it's B. Welcome back to my channel Unify. I have another week ahead reading for you guys. If you've been watching my videos up until now, you might have noticed that I changed my intro around. I did that just because I am going to be uploading other content that's not, just week ahead readings. Still playing around with different ideas. I really would love to, even though I really love doing tarot, I'd love to get back into direct channeling, as well as, like I mentioned in an earlier video, bring more content about just ascension symptoms, tapping into your gifts, moving through trauma, that kind of thing. So I changed my intro. I felt like the sooner the better to do that, so that, I can go ahead and get started on that content and not have to backtrack, especially since my intro says the week ahead with B. That does not apply to everything. So, yeah, that's new. I am going to just be tapping into the overall energy for the collective for the week ahead, like I have been. I do have these two new decks from a psychic fair that I vended at this past weekend. I was a reader there, and this awesome couple of women who had a booth right across from me, Rock Chakra, just give them a quick shout out. They had a lot of really great stuff, including tarot and oracle decks. So I did pick up a couple new decks. Not really sure if I'm going to use those in this particular reading, but I just really love them, and I just finished just clearing out all of my decks as well, energy wise, with some Palo Santo, because I did so many readings this weekend, so that's also part of the reason why they're out. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Real quick explanation. I do read intuitively. This is not going to be any specific type of spread. I'm just pulling the cards that I feel called to pull. I have my traditional deck here. You guys might recognize it if you've been here before or if you saw me this past weekend. I'm going to go ahead and pull the overall energy for the collective using this deck. I will get a couple more cards from my Threads of Fate deck to add to that energy, maybe just pull, more validation, more information, that kind of thing. Then I'm going to move on to my Angel Oracle Tarot deck that will provide some clarity around action that can be taken this week to work toward your benefit, however this reading resonates with you. And then I will pull from my Angel Oracle deck. And with that, there will be answers to whatever questions may be weighing on you right now, just clarity around anything that, we might not be sure of right now. And then I'll go ahead and close out the reading with my Seed and Sickle deck, which I will be reading from the book from the book for, yeah. Just because they're based around plants. And I still don't know, the meanings of these cards by heart or anything, and it's difficult to read them intuitively just because plants do have specific meanings. So I will be reading from the book this week. I went with the Dawn guidebook. That's just what I felt was right for this reading. This particular deck does come with a Dawn and Dusk book. The Dawn book is for if you're starting a new project, building new relationships, or focusing on revitalizing yourself. The Dusk one is to take care of your body and your mind. So, yeah, I don't know, I just felt like this one was the one today. It also fell out when I took the deck out to cleanse it, so we're rolling with it. That's just my style, I just roll with the energy. So, yeah, I've already cleared these. I am just shuffling this once more, just setting the intention, and I am going to do that, with all of these decks as I go along. Overall energy for the week. There's so many. That is so many cards. I mean, I guess we're gonna just roll with it. I just said what I said. I'm gonna do what I do. We'll see what happens. I have the Queen of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, the Six of Pentacles, Also, guys, today is August 8th. I don't know if I already mentioned that in the beginning here when I started talking, but it is the peak of the Lionsgate portal. Great time to tap into our own strength and abilities. Try something new. Let go of what's no longer serving us. That's something we talk about a lot here. We're just going to make this Lover's card YouTube friendly. There we go. The Six of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. Got a lot of cups here. Couple of pentacles. And a couple of swords as well. But overall, we've got more cups than anything. So I really do feel like we're getting to a place where we're starting to feel more emotionally fulfilled, making peace with our past. I really do get that. Just because overall, all of these are really good cards. So seeing this Six of Cups, or even seeing the Four of Cups, where it's more like, you know, you're focusing on the wrong things and focusing on what you don't have, I really feel like that's something that we're shifting out of, or we've shifted out of. It's something that we're no longer doing. We're really starting to see the lessons behind our past, be grateful for our experiences, even if it's not exactly what we wanted when it happened. It's not something that, you know, was necessarily pleasant some of the time. However, I really do see that our energy is really balancing out. We're taking these experiences and making the most out of them. We're finding emotional fulfillment here with this Nine of Cups. Really learning how to work with what we have as well. I'm getting with this Three of Pentacles as well as the Hangman. Not mistaking our peace for boredom in these situations. If you're used to things being a bit more chaotic, really grounding in the current energy and starting over from a new paradigm is what I'm feeling. With this Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. Yeah, I feel like we're getting more control over our thought processes as well. And I feel like that just kind of falls back in line with taking the lessons from our past experiences, finding a way to be happy with what we've gone through, finding a way to use our life lessons and our struggles to our favor, maybe coming up with new ideas. Maybe you've gone through something and you found a solution to move through it in a unique way, and maybe that's something that you're sharing with other people is what I'm getting. And then with this, I'm getting that kind of from the Page of Swords and this Six of Pentacles, which talks about having enough that you can share with others. It also, of course, is a card of balancing in a material sense. So I really do feel like collectively we're in a place where we're finally moving forward. And we also have the Three of Pentacles here too. So yeah, I really do get like we've learned enough, we've healed enough to feel like we are able to show up as a better version of ourselves, able to share information with other people. Other people may be looking to you. If there's people who've been in your life for some time with the Six of Cups who, you know, maybe knew the past versions of you, who've seen you come up and overcome a lot of different things, they might be looking to you now like, how did you do that? Can you please help me? I'm really struggling and, you know, I want to get to where you are. With that being said, I don't know why I'm just kind of getting drawn back to this Four of Cups. There could be some people who are a little jealous of how far you've come. People who really doubted you in the past, didn't think that you were capable of doing the things that you've done. And now that you have, they're really hating on you for it. They're like, well, that's not fair. You were supposed to stay stuck? How come I haven't gotten there? That kind of thing. But I really feel like that is, more in the background. I feel like as a collective, whoever's watching this, we've done the work to not allow that kind of behavior, that kind of outlook to get to us anymore. So it's more so aligning with people who are inspired by us and the work that we've done rather than jealous of it or trying to tear you down or make it seem like less than what it is, because I really do feel like a lot has been accomplished looking at all of these cards. A lot of inner work with the Hangman, really taking those pauses and, sometimes enduring an uncomfortable situation, knowing that we're going to come out of it with a better outlook, with a better understanding of why things have happened the way that they have, and again, being able to move into the next chapter of our life with all of that in mind, able to make better decisions, able to be more balanced emotionally, mentally, able to make more decisions that are better aligned with what's best for us versus based off of emotions or limiting beliefs. I'm really feeling like we are moving forward in a beautiful way, and this Queen of Swords is just catching my attention here, as far as taking that decisive action and being very kind to ourselves in that the queens in the tarot represent the feminine energy, the yin energy, the nurturing, caring energy. And while she's decisive and she knows what she wants, she's not beating herself up over it. It's about making decisions because they feel right for you. And I really feel like we're stepping into that energy, whereas before we might have been making decisions based off of what we thought would work better for other people. Really quick, I'm gonna just turn this around. Oh gosh, jacked it up. This is not working. Okay, let's try this one more time. You gotta find a better way to do this. I've seen on here some people have colored over their tarot cards. I refuse to do it. So for now, these post-its are just gonna have to work. Okay, there we go. Yeah, some people I've seen like drawing little bikinis and trunks on their cards. It's not happening. I'll just cover it up. Gotta get me some more post-it notes or something maybe that I can like put up there that is more permanent but can be removed easily, like a vinyl sticker or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, with the Lovers too, speaking of, just because I just, put this little sticky note back up here, I'm getting just like a balanced connection, better relationships with other people. The Lovers, even though it's called the Lovers card, it's not necessarily a romantic connection. It could just be any relationship that's balanced. And I really do feel like just overall, because we've made so much peace with things, we're able to navigate our relationships in an entirely different way than we have up until now. Again, not letting people's judgment or negativity or opinions get to us anymore. Really just standing in our own power, knowing that we've done all that we can on ourselves. And that's all that we can do at the end of the day. There's no way to really control other people. Not really. And I feel like in that we're aligning with more people who are on our same frequency. Other people who have done the work. Other people who are, wanting to improve their lives. Wanting to make change in a positive way. Wanting to just kind of move on from things that have kept them stuck up until this point. People aren't afraid to sit with themselves, to explore their inner demons, to look at their shadow, straight on and integrate that into themselves. And just like the yin and yang, we need the shadow just as much as we need the light. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to really explore and integrate into yourself so that you can be a balanced person. And I feel like overall, collectively, a lot of us have done this work to go within and look and see, what is hiding underneath the surface, to really dig out those subconscious thoughts and make sense of them, and allow them, or make it so they're not controlling us anymore. A lot of us, kind of run on subconscious programs, not knowing that, a lot of our behaviors, a lot of our thought processes are based off of beliefs that we don't even acknowledge most of the time. The triggers, basically. You're going along your day just fine, and then somebody does something very minimal and it sets you off. I feel like a lot of us have taken the time to really look at that. Like, why do I react so strongly to this specific thing? And just become more centered within ourselves in a way that's very admirable. I just keep getting, there's, again, this Three of Pentacles, we have the Six of Pentacles, we have the Six of Cups, and in all of these you can kind of see, maybe you can't see that well, but you can see there's somebody being looked up to in all of these, and that's really catching my attention. It's like people are really starting to see how capable you are. So yeah, I really feel good about this. Collectively, I feel like we're really on our shit. And yeah, I do feel like this is bringing forth new opportunities too. Just looking at the Page of Swords, sometimes that can mean that somebody's gonna come in. This could be a message because it's the swords. More so than like an offer, it could just be like a message, somebody letting you know that they look up to you, that you've really helped them by sharing your journey, by being honest, by showing up. It could be an offer, but that's more so what I'm getting, is somebody just really acknowledging the work that you've done. Let me see here. And with opportunities, I feel like we're creating more opportunities for ourselves. I feel like with this new energy, we're gaining the confidence to really put ourselves out there in new ways and to go after things that, before we might have felt incapable of, too small for, whatever was going through, each of our minds is going to be different based on whoever's watching this. But, whatever it is that was limiting us before is no longer holding on. Keeping us captive. And with that, we're able to create more abundance for ourselves, both financially, within our relationships, emotionally, just bringing in more happiness, more happy experiences, more experiences that are feeling like manifestations. I feel like this applies to me too, y'all. Just all of these. I feel every reading I've done, I feel like applies to me too. But for example, this past weekend, I mentioned in the intro, I did a market this weekend, and I was a reader. That was my first time doing a market by myself. I've helped my sisters and other people, with their markets and things before, but this is my first time putting myself out there as a business owner, as a reader. And really the first time I gave readings to other people outside of my friends and a couple random people and some practice groups, but that was very inconsistent. So it was something that I felt, I'm not sure I can do this. I don't know if I'm ready. But other manifestations came in where I manifested the money to participate in this reading. And then participate in the market. And then at the market, I manifested the money to buy more supplies that I needed for the following day. And then yesterday I went roller skating with my husband. I know it's that's definitely Six of Cups energy, childlike energy, Page energy. but not really, you know, adults skate. But it's something that I've been wanting to do since I was a kid and have been so terrified of. I've been in, you know, I used to inline skate when I was younger, but roller skating has terrified me. Every time I put them on and even tried to stand up, I was like, nope, sat back down, didn't even try. But I bought myself some skates a couple years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago now, and you know, slowly taught myself, was not very confident. I went skating one other time at a family member's house, like in the springtime of this year. And otherwise, they've just been boxed up. I moved in March, and I have not touched them since then. But yesterday, my husband and I, you know, we wanted to skate. He wanted to skate especially. He's really good at inline skating. And I was like, I want to try. Like, I just want to try. And it ended up being really successful. I went pretty far, and I didn't fall. And that really surprised me because I've been so afraid of falling. And I feel like that is a perfect analogy for just trying new things in general. Oftentimes, you know, we're so afraid of falling, of failing, that we don't try. We don't put ourselves out there. When we're able to move past those barriers, it ends up being, you know, much better than we could ever expect. So yeah, I really feel like we're all going through our own versions of this, you know, doing things that we thought we couldn't do, doing things that we were really afraid of, doing things that we've been wanting to do since we were young. And in doing that, realizing how capable we really are and how much we were limiting ourselves by allowing the fears to control what we were going to do next. But right now, yeah, like looking at all these cards, I really feel like that is past energy, especially with this Lionsgate portal right now. That being such a strong energy of just self-confidence. It can be a little egotistical, but if we're balanced, it's just confidence. And I feel like, you know, in that confidence, we're all collectively moving on to just this new, more powerful energy, more balanced energy. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hop into these Threads of Fate cards and just see. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm going to take that one too. I'm just going to see. Darn you, sticky note. Gonna see what comes through. These other cards are about to be on top of this anyway, so yeah, and I spoke about manifesting a little bit when I talked about doing that market. I feel like a lot of manifestations are coming through this month as well. And that's not necessarily based off of this tarot. I mean, I feel like it is validated here in this tarot, but that's just the energy of the Lionsgate portal. Okay, we have Endure, Wilderness. First time I've gotten these cards. Vision. Static. And Portal. We love the Portal card. At least I do. And it's come up a couple of other times. Okay, so yeah, I feel like Endure, Wilderness, Vision, Static, and Portal. Alright, just tuning in for just a second here. I feel like this Endure card is just giving us like a don't stop. There might be a few things, you know, just because we're in this energy doesn't mean we're not scared. Like, going back to me skating yesterday, I was scared AF the whole time. I probably said oh shit like 30 times while I was skating. But you know, it's doing it anyway, doing things scared, not worrying about what might happen, because when we worry about what might happen, we're able to just like spin things up out of control in our minds, and then it just makes us stuck. And I feel like this static card is kind of mentioning that too, or touching on that, just as far as like allowing too many thoughts in and creating confusion, blurring our vision when it comes to moving forward toward our goals. I feel like this is just saying to not allow those things to come back in while we're moving through this energy. It's not like, you know, people who are successful never get scared. It's not like people who make their dreams come true just did it just all easily and, you know, there were no difficulties. That's not the case at all. It's about persevering through that. It's about still choosing to show up for yourself. It's still doing what is necessary to reach the destination that you're trying to get to, regardless of what you're telling yourself, what may be coming up internally that's trying to say like this isn't safe, or you're not good enough, or, you know, whatever it is. It's about enduring through that and not allowing your brain to get foggy again, because you've already done so much to get to this place of clarity. So I really feel like that's what those two cards are saying. In this Endure card too, there's a lot of eyes. I just feel like a lot of eyes are on you right now if you're watching this. I already mentioned up here that people are really noticing the work that you're doing, really noticing how much you've grown and changed when they thought you were going to stay the same. Maybe they stayed the same and they were hoping you would too. With this Six of Cups too, maybe some people are trying to come back around now that they see that you've grown. I say don't allow it. I mean, use your discernment. Depends on who it is. But don't let people come back around and try to take advantage of you and, you know, what is that silly saying on the internet? I can't remember what it is. I think it has something to do with Beyonce, but it's like, you know, like if you can't handle somebody at their lowest, then you don't get to have them at their highest, you know, that kind of thing. Or if you're not supportive when people are like going through their healing journey and figuring stuff out, but then you want to come around once they figured it out and they're successful and they got something you want now, do not allow that energy to come back into your life. I really feel like that is what, that's something that just needs to be said. But I do feel like a lot of eyes are on you. There may be eyes, again, I think I mentioned this earlier as well, eyes that are judging, eyes that are like, oh, you think you're this now, or you think you can just do this, you forget where you came from, that kind of thing. I don't know, that's just coming up for me. Just don't sweat that kind of stuff. This card again says endure. Just let that like fall away, flow off of you like water, as is said in a lot of martial arts practices. Like, don't allow that kind of thing to hinder you. You have risen above it, and it's not in like an egotistical way or anything like that, but you have done a lot of internal work in order to move through the things that trigger you, to not be activated by triggers anymore, or at least not respond to them impulsively, be able to just kind of say like, okay, that's how you feel, I respect that, but that doesn't have anything to do with me at the end of the day, and you keep it moving. I really feel like that's the energy we are embodying right now with all this power in this tarot. We also have wilderness, vision, and portal. So I feel like wilderness is saying a couple things. I feel like this is saying not only is this journey going to be a little wild, a little unexpected, there's going to be some unexpected turns for us, there's going to be some things that are going to be surprising for us, discoveries that we didn't even know we would be making. But I also feel like this is saying to embody your wild side. I think there's a lion on here too. There sure is. Lion's Gate. Kind of right here. And then right there. Yeah. Embody your wild side. Embody your strength, your power. Lions, you know, they're the kings of the jungle, that kind of thing. Like, really embody that. And this is also kind of giving strength card vibes as well, because this woman is resting on the lion in this very relaxed manner. So it's like you've really done some work to overcome fears with all this energy lately. You've really done a lot of work, and it's not been like fighting against anything. In the strength card and in this wilderness card, you can see like she's just chilling. In the strength card, she's just petting the lion. It's not about fighting to get to where we want to get. It's about just standing strong and knowing that, you know, we have what it takes in order to do the things that we envision for ourselves. It's not about having to struggle necessarily. It's about working with the energy instead of against it in order to achieve what you want, I think is what I'm trying to say. You know, learning how to calm and tame that energy, that chaotic energy, that static energy, learning how to really move through it and make sense of it, calm it down, organize it, and then use it to your benefit. And I really feel like wilderness is just talking about that. And with vision, we have more eyes here. There's some people really checking you out. And we have Saturn, which talks about how we're viewed in the public eye. So yeah, really, you're really getting noticed right now, collective, whoever's watching this, talking to you. Even if people aren't telling you they're watching, they are. You probably can feel it. You might be having dreams about these people. Yeah, but really, I feel like right now, in this particular reading, this vision card is just talking about really dreaming big. We might already be working towards something, but I think this is saying just don't limit yourself. You're going to go so much farther than you think. I really get that, especially with the eagle that's on this card as well, that symbolizes freedom. And the eagle, you know, they can fly, they're very strong, they're hunters. I really feel like this is just saying like you're gonna go to new heights. This is saying you're gonna get a lot farther than you thought you can fly. You're not, you know, walking somewhere. You're taking a private jet there, kind of thing, for lack of a better metaphor. Yeah, I feel like it's just saying to, again, with that wilderness card, and it, you know, really reminded me of the strength card. I feel like it's just saying, like, kind of go into your next cycle of dream weaving with the knowledge that you have the strength and power to do anything. Like, what would you do if you could do anything? If you, and again, we've already moved through a lot of these limiting beliefs. There might be some still that come up here and there, you know, again, we're doing stuff scared. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Because that's the only way you can overcome your fears. You got to face them head on. You know, they don't just go away, you know, while you hide under your covers. You got to, you know, take the blinders off and look that shit in the eye and say, okay, like, I see you and I'm stronger than you. And then just, like, walk forward. I feel like this is saying to do that. Like, even if you have fears or you're still doubting yourself a little bit, like, just take that away for just a minute and imagine what you could possibly do if you weren't scared, if you had all the money, all the connections, all the right connections, if you had the experience. And then go one step further and start making a plan. Like, what can you do today, right now, to work toward that? And, like, before you know it, moving to this portal card, before you know it, you're going to be at that doorway staring your dreams in the face instead of your fears. It's going to be transformational, even just doing these first couple steps of just thinking about that and drafting what you want for yourself. You're going to, you know, once you start breaking that stuff down and once you take action toward it, it's going to be it's going to appear more feasible than maybe you thought before. You know, it's easy to just look at things from a surface level and be like, wow, how does somebody do that? Whatever. But then you find out they started, let's just say, like, okay, I want to do calisthenics. That's something I genuinely want to do in time. I need to build up my strength and stamina in order to do that. And yeah, it looks really hard to do like freaking moonwalking on a pull-up bar or whatever. But when you see, okay, this person used to be like 100 pounds wet, and they just made some dietary changes. They started working out and just did like 10 push-ups a day. It's like, I can do 10 push-ups a day. You know, you got to start somewhere. We all start somewhere. And once you start breaking these big things down into smaller bite-sized pieces, you're gonna get there quicker than you think, is what I'm getting. Like, this is gonna happen a lot faster than we're thinking. Yeah. And so with that, let me go ahead and pop into these Angel Tarot cards. Let's see what actions are coming up. I feel that one. I feel this one. Let's see, universe, what you got to say. We have the Ace of Swords, Ace of Air. Four of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. This card comes up every reading. If you've been watching my channel, you know, I shuffle. Well, you just saw, like, I'm not looking at the cards. I pull them like this. I just feel them. I shuffled the deck. I cleansed it with Palo Santo that I lit on a selenite candle. Like, I feel like I couldn't do any, you know, it's just crazy. Anyway, back to these. High Priestess, very cool. These are very cool cards. I feel like this is like, this is such a good reading. This is making me so happy. And, you know, especially since our other readings before were more about moving through a lot of stuck energy, and now, you know, I just feel good that we're finally on the other side of that and we're getting some other insight. I'm loving it. Anyway, we have, again, Ace of Air, Four of Earth, Knight of Water, the High Priestess, Seven of Air, and Eight of Fire. I keep wanting to say Swords, Pentacles, Cups, and Wands, but these cards don't say that. Okay, so starting out, this is our action, you guys. What can we do with all of this insight? So Ace of Air, or Ace of Swords, is talking about new ideas coming in. I feel like because of the shift in energy, we are seeing things quite differently than we did before. We could have ideas come up based off of this new experience that are going to be really fruitful for us. Again, I mentioned this says seeing the truth in a situation. I feel like I mentioned up here about like really seeing your past for what it is, understanding the lessons that were to be gained in that, instead of putting ourselves, you know, in this victim mentality, like, oh, I went through this and that's why my life sucks. It's like, no, I went through this. What can I learn from that? What have I learned from that? Oh, I didn't make that mistake again, you know, when I very easily could have, had I not looked at this from this way, you know. Like, it's like dating toxic people over and over again, ending up in these like really terrible relationships over and over again and wondering why. It's because you haven't looked at yourself and the role that you're playing in those connections. It's not why do you keep ending up with these terrible people, it's more why do you keep choosing to be with people who aren't healed, you know. So I feel like we've done some self-development, and this Ace of Swords is talking about a new beginning where we are going into it with this new level of insight and understanding of why things happen the way they do, and being able to move forward in a different way and not keep repeating cycles. So I feel like this is just telling us to keep that in mind as we move forward, to remember the lessons that we've learned so that we don't end up going backwards. With the Four of Pentacles, this talks about holding on to things too tightly, being too cautious, being too worried about what can happen if you let go of money, of time. So I feel like I just like the text at the bottom caught my eye. So now I'm like reading it. Good business decisions and giving to those less fortunate. That actually aligns up with this Six of Pentacles, this Four of Pentacles definition that they wrote here, giving to those less fortunate. And then we see up here the Six of Pentacles. That's exactly what's happening. This is somebody who has more than enough to give, and they're giving to other people who are in need. So I feel like maybe that is what I am meant to say when it comes to this card. Not only is the Four of Pentacles, I already mentioned, just being kind of too cautious with our money, holding on too tightly to the things that we have. I feel like this is calling for us to give. When we give, be that financially or our skills, like sharing knowledge, that kind of thing, it allows for more to come to us. It opens up a flow of our chi, of energy. And so I feel like this is saying, you know, now is the time to start sharing with others the lessons that you've learned. If you've come into a lot of money, give back to your community in some way. Help somebody who's in need, and don't do it for views. Don't make a TikTok over it. I think that's so tacky. I mean, occasionally I watch it because it is wholesome sometimes, and I'm also like, damn, you have a camera in this person's face. It's like, I don't know, it's not okay. I wouldn't do it. I don't recommend other people do it. But, you know, like, do what you can, where you can, and more will come to you. It's like, talking about just universal energy. When universe, when spirit sees that you're not taking the gifts that you've been given for granted, you're not just holding on to them, hoarding it for yourself, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to give this person more. They're going to do good with it. They're going to change the world with it. Be somebody who changes the world with your gifts. Be somebody who makes an impact on people's lives, people that are less fortunate than you. It says less fortunate, we have that there. Yeah, just be somebody who is a guiding light. That doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself. Do not sacrifice yourself. If it's going to be something that is going to cause you, I feel like that's another just like loop pattern of not having boundaries and not doing what's actually best for you and just doing things because you feel like you have to. Don't do that. It's not what I'm saying at all. But if you are able to, in whatever way you're able to, this could just be spreading love and kindness to those around you, seeing somebody and just telling them, like, you know, I hope you have a great day. I think you're a beautiful person. Like, these small little things, just sharing your purity, your energy with people who need it. Because, you know, a lot of times we all go through life day to day struggling. We're all dealing with something internally. You know, even in the good times, there have been bad times, and sometimes we're still processing those bad times. And so even something as small as, you know, just passing on gratitude, genuine gratitude, a compliment, whatever it is, you know, that's a great place to start giving back to people if you can't do it in other ways. Moving on to the Knight of Cups. This guy just keeps popping up. It says the need to balance emotions. I think this is just saying to maintain your balance. Again, I already mentioned with the Ace of Swords, just remembering all the lessons that you've learned. I feel like in that, you know, we also need to balance our emotions. Sometimes when we forget or we're not, you know, being present in the moment as we're navigating certain situations, it can be easy to, again, be emotionally triggered. It happens to everybody, you know, different points in our life. Everybody gets triggered. And it's just about making sure that we're not getting defensive and attacking other people when really, you know, they're just trying to like have a conversation, or they just make a joke and you take it personally and you're just like, you're thinking about what your mom or dad or your friend that one time said to you. Your grandma told you look like you were gaining weight, whatever. And this person says something that has nothing to do with that, with no pre-existing knowledge of that, and you take it personally because of that one time 20 years ago. Like that has to, be kept in check. And so I think that's what this is saying, just making sure that when we are moving through these situations, we're rising above it. I love the imagery here. I really feel like he's like riding a dolphin, hopping through the waves, and I feel like that's what we need to you need to embody riding a dolphin. No, you just need to rise above the emotions, and the water in this is pretty chaotic as well. He's not riding, on he's not riding in a lake. This is, it's surrounded by mountains, but yeah, he's like in an ocean riding through the waves. It's like chaotic emotions, a lot of things coming up, but just being mindful of that and not allowing that to overcome you, make decisions for you. I'm gonna adjust here. So the next one we have the High Priestess. This talks about listening to your intuition, going within and trusting yourself. It also talks about a spiritual awakening, and I really feel like that is in line with everything because of all of this work that has been done. We're unlocking a lot of gifts within us. One of the main ones being strength. I know that's not like what people may think of when they think about gifts. They might think like psychic or, I can teleport, I don't know. But no, strength is a gift as well, like the ability to persevere, the ability to overcome. And I really feel like the High Priestess is is pointing to that, but also guiding us to continue our work going within, maybe even expanding our knowledge, like taking classes if right now one of the things that you're interested in going for with this Lionsgate is trying to become a psychic. If that's something that you're interested, maybe exploring tarot if that's something that you're interested in. I feel like the High Priestess is saying, trust those little urges, those messages that are coming up for you. What is it that you have been thinking about, keeps coming up for you? What are you dreaming about? Not necessarily even just during your sleeping hours, but like just in general, what's something that you keep thinking about? Like, wow, that would be really fun to do, or that really interests me. And, you're coming up with every reason right now not to do it. Right now is not the time to come up with excuses as to not to do things. It's the time to figure out a way to make it happen for yourself. Even if that's going to take, a while to build up to, it's again, like breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and working toward that. But the High Priestess does specifically talk more about like a spiritual journey. So if that's something that you're wanting to embark on, or even if it's not, I feel like this is calling us to tap more into our spirituality, to open up our intuition so that we can attract more of the things that we want for ourselves, and that we can so that we can execute and take action toward the things that we're meant to take action toward. I am reading too. This says consider carefully what you want before acting. I think that's just like, I feel like a good general rule of thumb. I don't know. I feel like I need to point that out. Yeah, not acting on impulse when it comes to these things, not thinking with the Leo energy. That is, we're not only in Leo season right now, but we're also in the Lionsgate portal. So it's like, don't let your ego get the best of you and think you can do some big thing tomorrow. It happens to all of us. It's happened to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I want to do this, and it's like I expected to just be able to do it right off the bat. And sure, maybe I could do it like kinda, but I wasn't like, I'm not like a pro. Or I feel like, like with my business and my website and stuff that I've recently started, I initially went into it thinking, like, I already have these skills, I already have this experience, so it'll be, like, done tomorrow. No. There were so many roadblocks, especially mentally. And it's funny because, as much as I built things up in my head, speaking of, this overall energy, as much as I built things up in my head, once I finally stopped thinking so hard about stuff and started looking for solutions, I was like, oh. And then, like, in one day, I knocked out, like, 10 of my problems that I was thinking about for, like, a week. Like, it's that kind of thing. So I feel like just with this, it's about just, not letting your ego run the show. Again, we're talking about balance. This is very balanced energy that we have going on here. And I feel like it's just about maintaining that, like, and breaking things down into bite-sized steps. And when that fear comes up, because we have this energy of strength and we're in Leo season and Lionsgate, it's like when those fears come up, just finding a way to move through them. Just like with me, like the example I just gave, goodness, about me starting the business. It's like, there were different aspects where I thought I was stuck. And then a quick Google search, once I stopped freaking out, showed me that I didn't have to be stuck. I just do this little thing over here and bam, it's done, kind of thing. That doesn't mean it wasn't hard. Mentally and emotionally, some things were a struggle for me, but it was possible. And physically, with Ron's energy, it wasn't that hard at the end of the day. What was hardest for me was overcoming the mental blocks. So yeah, I feel like this is just saying to be patient with yourself. If you're going into something and thinking that it's going to be one way and it doesn't work out the exact way that you thought it would, it's okay. Just take a deep breath, give yourself some grace. Like, you're learning to do something new. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's expecting it to be perfect. Nobody even knows what it's supposed to look like when you're going into these things and you're creating your own path. Like, you're the only one who has this big vision in your mind and knows that it's supposed to be like this empire, and other people were just like, oh, she's reading cards, okay. It's like, so don't beat yourself up with those thoughts that other people are going to be thinking lowly of you because it's not perfect when you first start something, or because you hit a roadblock and you take a break or something. Like, that just happens. That's just life. And I think it's really important to go into this lovingly toward ourselves. And so, yeah, 7 of Swords. Just reading this card here, I feel like it's kind of going back to what I just said with the High Priestess. It says more going on than meets the eye and poor timing. I feel like we just need to be patient. The 7 of Swords in the traditional tarot shows a figure who's stolen 5 swords from an army camp, and he left 2 behind, and you can see the army off in the distance charging toward him. This is somebody who's trying to, like, prevent a war by stealing their weapons, but he's forgotten all of these other things. He's forgotten some of the weapons. He doesn't know that they have, like, some plan, a backup plan, that kind of thing. So really, I feel like it's just talking about, again, really breaking things down into small, actionable steps. Not overthinking, but considering all possibilities. Considering considering what could happen if you were to take this specific action versus this one over there, then really deciding which one will work best for you in that moment, instead of just diving forward and just willy-nilly just taking whatever action is totally disorganized. Because when we don't organize our thoughts and we're not taking an organized approach in somewhat, of a manner, sometimes we go into things and it doesn't go in the exact order that we planned it to, and that's okay. But, just going into it with no plan at all is not a good idea, because, you find yourself running in circles and you never get to your destination. So I feel like that is more so what this 7 of Swords is saying, is just to consider all the possibilities. Also, just thinking about the traditional card, consider who you're surrounding yourself with in this situation. I really am picking that up. Like, consider who you're giving access to you, who you're sharing your ideas with. You know, not everybody needs to know what is going on in your life. Not everybody needs to know that you're going to do something next. Sometimes it's better to just hold off on announcing things. If you're working on something, it's still in the process, you're still developing ideas, to not necessarily share that with other people. Because not everybody has the best intentions, even if they might seem like they do, you know? And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is, you know? That's just life. So just being really conscious of that, I feel like, is also something that needs to be said. Moving on to the Eight of Wands, this talks about just hitting your target dead on. This talks about things moving ahead quickly. I really do feel like with all these other cards, taking all this other stuff into consideration, you know, not allowing our thoughts to get to us, not allowing lessons to be repeated, really taking that, moving forward, giving back, giving where we can, not allowing our emotions to, you know, overwhelm us, forming too deep attachments to things that, you know, don't have anything to do with what we're attaching them to. Learning new things in order to help us achieve our goals. I feel like this is just saying, when we take all this into consideration, once you like really align your mindset with your goals and with your actions, that you're going to hit your target dead on. I really feel like this is just validation that whatever it is we're working on right now, is we're gonna hit it, you know, right on target. Is always what I get from the Eight of Wands. Always. It's majority of the time what I get from the Eight of Wands. It's just, you know, hitting that target quickly too. It's like, you know, once you take action, I mentioned that earlier, about, you know, me wanting to do calisthenics or whatever. Like, I feel like you're going to get there way faster than you're thinking. You're thinking this is going to take like forever for you to be successful in whatever area it is that you're trying to be successful in. But at the end of the day, it's actually going to be quicker than you think. You know, it's just about taking action and being consistent. Even if, you know, you have down moments, like in my development and doing all these things that I'm doing now, there have been moments where I just take a pause. You know, I take like a week off of doing one thing so I can focus in another area, or just so I can rest, you know? Like, sometimes you just need to rest, and that's okay, but you got to keep moving forward after that. You know, there's no more resting forever or giving up. It's whatever you started, it's about finishing it. You know, no matter what comes up, moving through the difficulties, moving through the struggles, the limiting beliefs, the emotional upheavals, and recentering our energy and keeping it moving forward. And then, you know, eventually, sooner than we think, we will land exactly where we want to be. So yeah, let me try to ribbity wrap this up. That was lame. Reminds me of as from watching Rick and Morty, which I don't actually watch really, but I definitely did at a time, and I can't get some of these things out of my brain. Jeez Louise. Okay, there we go. I'm just cutting it off there. Wrecking the whole setup. Okay. If it's up to you. How many cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're going the same pattern we have here. Yeah, I get obsessed over my cards being like straight, like for real. I'm sure you can tell. It drives me insane. No, really. Okay. Maybe there's a lesson in this. How about I just move on? Don't let myself get hung up on those little details. It's funny, when I pulled this, First card. I always think that this card right here looks like Leighton Meester. I don't know if anybody here is an OG Gossip Girl fan, but Belair. Can I focus? Can you focus? Yeah. Tell me that doesn't look like her if you know who I'm talking about. She's in other stuff, but I know her from Gossip Girl. But I was thinking about that when I pulled this card because I'm in a few different spiritual NDE mediumship groups and things on Facebook, and somebody recently posted was it this card? Somebody recently posted this card with a picture of their face, and it looked exactly like them, and they were like, saying they reached out to the creator to see if like how they came up with the images and that kind of thing. And I just think that's interesting that card came out when I was like, oh, Leighton Meester. Anyway, moving along. So if you have something weighing on your mind, we have really good cards. I'm just going to try to sum this up instead of one by one, like these actions. Whatever this is, it's up to you to make it happen. We already talked about that. Taking steps just one day at a time, taking consistent steps at that. It's going to end up in a success. We already know that with the 8 of Wands, the 10 or 9 of Cups. Like, no doubt this is something that's going to end beautifully for you as long as you trust in yourself. Be assertive as well. Go after the things that you want. Be assertive as far as who you are as well. If there's people questioning that, it's like, you have no right to question me. You don't know my whole story. You don't know what I've been through mentally, emotionally. Maybe you saw, maybe you were my friend this whole time. If they're a friend, they should support you first of all. Unless you're ruining your life, okay? Good friends tell you the truth in a non-judgmental way. But, being assertive is just saying, this is who I am, this is what I want, I'm going to go after it, and taking action, like applying for those dream jobs. With the High Priestess, right under, be assertive. I just got, if there's some job that you want and you are lacking a couple of required skills, getting on like a website like Udemy or Coursera or whatever. I've seen some weird stuff about those websites recently, but I use them or have used them in the past, and or Skillshare, something like that, and just learning a couple of new skills, just giving stuff a try, and seeing how far you can get with that. Sometimes all you need is to learn a couple of things here and there to give yourself a leg up and get to where you want to go. So I feel like that's part of what being assertive is talking about. We have look for a sign. I feel like, where is it? That's right above the Knight of Swords, Knight of Cups. But I was thinking about the, I don't remember, it's under here somewhere. But trusting your intuition, I feel like, is a huge message here. The High Priestess, of course. Trusting your intuition. If you are noticing something keeps coming up for you, it's worth exploring. Even if you don't really believe in that, just give it a shot. You really never know until you know. Like, you Google a freaking raccoon and you're like, oh shit, this raccoon speaks to my soul. You just never know. So just be open, willing to explore the possibilities. Don't limit yourself to, what your current beliefs are, or oh, that's not realistic. Explain gravity to me. Explain how anything exists. There's a lot of things that, we've been able to prove via science, but we cannot see. I can't see oxygen. I mean, you can in like one of those ampules, I guess, but I think you get the point. There's so many things and so many facets to this reality, both physically and energetically, that cannot be explained, but they still exist. or they cannot be shown, even if they can be explained, explained theoretically or whatever, you can't see some of it, and yet it's there. You can't see your consciousness, but you are here, you're walking, you're talking, you're breathing, you have your own personality, you have life force. I feel like it's just so worth it to just go into things with an open mind, be willing to explore, be curious, be open to the possibilities. If you're seeing something over and over again, it's because the universe is trying to catch your attention. So if you notice you see something 2-3 times, if you're seeing it multiple days, it's because it's meant for you to see and to look into. And you'll be so surprised once you just say, fuck it, let me see what this raccoon means, and like, you look up the spiritual meaning of a raccoon, and like, it's talking about, it tells you something you need to hear right then that is personal to you and your experience in that moment, kind of thing. So I think, looking for signs is great. Pay attention to numbers that keep coming up, songs that catch your attention, words on a TV show, conversations you overhear. These are just my typical, like, if you see an animal over and over again, if you hear a name over and over again, just different things. Universe and spirit connects to us in these ways. And once you start to acknowledge these signs, depending on whatever signs that you start to pick up on more heavily, you will receive more and more of that. Like, I can't tell you, like, when I first started noticing angel numbers, first it was 1111, and it is for most people, that's like the first number, like initiation into the awakening. It's the portal energy, it's the make-a-wish energy. And then I started seeing random numbers, and I'm like, this doesn't mean anything, but it does. It really does. And when I looked it up, it was like, dang, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And it's brought me to so many beautiful things that I didn't know I could experience because I was limiting myself so much. But, in just trusting and just being curious, my life has become something that I actually want versus living for other people, doing things that I kind of hated but felt like I had to, like, we don't have to live like that. So I feel like, yeah, trust yourself, go after what you want, be open. You're going to be successful. It's up to you at the end of the day, whatever you do, but know that there's something better out there for you, if you just are willing to explore the possibility of there being something more. And I feel like if you're thinking at all that there could be something better for you out there, it's because there is. That alone is a sign from spirit that there's more for you, that there's something more to your personal journey to be explored. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hop into the seed and sickle. And that song has been playing in my head a lot. I don't remember what it's called. It's by Corinne Bailey Rae, and it's like, 3 little birds sat on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. I don't know, like, I just keep playing just that in my head, like, don't worry. And with the 3 birds, really I don't know, I keep getting animals, but pay attention to animals that you see. I really just want one card from the seed and sickle deck. But universe said, nah, chick, you got 3, so here we go. 4, just kidding. Okay, birch, poppy, wisteria, and apple. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so birch. In Irish communities, the traditional winter Yule log is cut from the birch tree. A broom of birch twigs is used to brush out the dust of the old year and bring in the new, and household fires are doused and then relit from the central Yule fire to bring the community together. You're facing a new beginning, but do not embark upon this future alone. You will have a stronger start if you rely on friends, family, or colleagues to support you through your first steps. Do not fear removing what is past its use. Yeah, I like that. We already talked about us being in a new place, a new space. I feel like I also mentioned, aligning with people who are, on your same level doing the work. And I feel like that's coming in to help you on this journey. Yeah, be open to that. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable just because, other people so far have kind of sucked and haven't been supportive. I feel like we're aligning with more people who are going to really show up for us and who want the same things and are willing to do the work, not only on themselves, but in order to support, their friends and family. So I love that. And it's a 1. Yeah, new beginning. We have Poppy. The devil is in the details. An old protection against pursuit by monsters involves scattering poppy seeds in your path. Spirits are compelled to stop and count any small items they come across. So this difficult task will slow them long enough for you to escape. Try not to get too entangled in the details, or you'll find yourself coming to a complete stop. It's time to let a few of the less important factors slide for the sake of moving forward. Love it. Okay, so yeah, this is just talking about not getting stuck, not overthinking things to the point where you're like, oh, I can't move forward until I do that. I mentioned that earlier, like coming up with a plan, and like it's okay if the plan doesn't go in the exact order that you set it out to, as long as you keep moving forward. You might find that it'd be better to do step 7 before step 3. It just makes more sense. As long as you have a plan, that's fine, but it doesn't have to be exactly this or exactly the way that we are expecting it to go in order for it to be successful. And that's kind of drawing me to this, there's something better. And look, the colors are even similar here with the green and pink. It's almost like, you might be going into it thinking it needs to be done one way, and then you end up doing stuff another way, and it ends up better than you expected because you allowed yourself to be open to other ways of doing things. So I love that message. Yeah. Time to let a few of the less important factors slide. Maybe we're hanging on to, stuff that just doesn't really matter. We have Wisteria. The Korean legend of Dunnamu? I don't know. You guys tell me what the heck that says. Maybe leave me like a phonetic explanation in the comments or something. I don't know. Anyway, this tells of 2 sisters who were both unknowingly in love with the same man. When they discovered each other sneaking into the same tent one night, they chose to continue to love each other rather than fight over him. I love it. Fudge that guy. Nothing that is truly worth achieving can be won alone, and some things are not worth jeopardizing important relationships for. Relying on others can seem like a loss of independence, but together you can grow stronger than you would on your own. We got this same message about seeking help from others, not going about this alone. Again, I feel like I said a few times now, we're aligning with people who are really there to support us, who really believe in what we're building, and love us. There might be some people in our lives who have been there for a long time and support us. I mentioned, like a true friend earlier who's seen you go through this whole journey and who's there to help you. I feel like, it's a good time to be vulnerable. I feel like with all of this work that has been done, some of us may have had our guard up for a lot of our lives, a lot of the time, and, been wary about sharing certain things with people on an emotional level because of fear of judgment, or just not being in touch with our emotions in the first place, not really understanding what we're feeling in a way that allows us to communicate it. But I feel like, again, we're aligning with people, and if this is already a connection that has already existed, we're deepening those connections with people by being vulnerable, by sharing what we need help with, and allowing them to share their gifts with us. We have, the 6 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles as well, saying about like giving, when we can, where we can. I feel like allowing people to do that for us too is just as important, because when we are open to receiving help, the universe, is like, oh, okay, here's more help. It's really important to not block things off energetically, because then, you know, you're blocked. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I think that is a fantastic message. Now let's go ahead and move on to this apple. Okay, apple. Not so long ago, you set out on a path with a goal in mind. Now, after all of your hard work, determination, and passion, you are so close to completion that you can almost taste it. But a hitch has pushed you back a few steps, undoing some progress. Don't let frustration convince you to throw it all away. Have patience, untangle the knot in front of you, and accept that delays are inevitable. Success will be just as sweet tomorrow as it would be today. Beautiful. I think that just reiterates my message that I said earlier about, you know, just in my personal journey, like sometimes just taking like a day, a week, whatever off because I hit a hitch, because whatever. And that's okay. Sometimes in those moments of rest, like like the hangman here, sometimes in those moments of rest, it's like exactly what we need in order to find the solution to a problem. Sometimes we just need to kick back and let things play out. Relax. Sometimes things can come to us in a dream when we're chilling, watching a show. It's like, oh wow, that's kind of what I'm dealing with. I might try that, and then bam, your problem's fixed. So yeah, I love that. Don't allow setbacks. Again, like, you know, successful people don't not experience fear. They don't not experience hardship. You know, you could be a billionaire and still have a bad day. Like, but it's about keeping that momentum, you know, getting back up after you fall and continuing to move forward on the path that you've laid out for yourself. So yeah, I love this message, collective. This looks so good. I'm so happy for all of us. We're doing so fantastic. I can't wait to see, you know, what you guys are coming up with, what you're working on, and to see us all like doing well, you know, like see you at the top. See you at the top. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I will be using those decks in like other readings just because of how they are. But yeah, I feel like this is great, and thank you again. Love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.